Hi, everybody. I'm so excited that you're here with me today. It's a beautiful day in New York. A little warmer than I'm comfortable with. Bright and sunny out. It's going to go up to 85, which isn't as hot as it's been, but it's about 10 degrees warmer than I'm comfortable with. But I'll manage if I stay to this shady side of the street or sit under the shade of a tree in the park. And I do have plans to go out and be in it this afternoon. So anyway, I'm excited you're here. Let me see who is here. Hello, Maryland's Tarot Take. Hello, Red Wing. Sunny evening in Edinburgh and not too hot. Hot here in Michigan. Feel like temps in the low 90s. Ugh. Saskia Hadley. Hello. Golden 1789. Hello. Nothing so strange. Hello. Let's see. Anybody else? I think that's it. So if you were here with me last week, you know I did a walkthrough of this tarot, the Wonderland Tarot, which has nothing to do with Alice in Wonderland. And I was a little bit harsh on it, I think. It's a beautiful deck. It's reasonably priced, but I found that a lot of the images didn't exactly sync up in a comfortable way with the Rider-Waite-Smith system, even though the text on the back seems to hint that that's the system they use. Now, I have had a chance to work with it over the last week, and if we have time at the end of the hour, I might try a reading or two with it. So if you have a question, keep it in mind. Be ready to post it near the end. Because I have been finding that it works. Although I caveat, I did say last week I can work with any deck as long as it's clearly labeled following the RWS system. So if all the titles are the usual titles, I do a little translating in my head to the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. And then I just use whatever imagery is in the cards to sort of like layer over the background with a kind of a mood or a style that might slightly lead me in another direction. And I find that this works best if you don't focus too hard or if you don't expect surface easy answers. If you kind of go into a fuzzed out daydream mode and just kind of like don't think too hard about the cards, certain symbols or images pop to the surface and they seem a little, you know, they do guide. They hint you in directions that you might not normally think about. So we're gonna try that. But what I'm here for today is much easier, much more palatable for you. And it's a beautiful deck if you like the Rider-Waite-Smith system. This follows the system. It is called the Wyspell Starlight Tarot Deck, the Blue Edition. I did announce this last week, and I don't know if any of you managed to check it out or go get it. If you don't like Pixie's art, but you like the poses that are in her imagery and you want to see them in a different style, this might be the deck for you. It's really beautiful. And it's a little different than what I'm used to because this one is an orange and blue palette. I think those are opposite one another on the color wheel. And they're supposed to be complementary, but I never think of orange and blue in the same as a combination that I like. But it's really nice and it's really refreshing compared to all the other palettes I have in my collection. I'm glad I have this. Orange and blue work really well together. And this is, the blues are backgrounds. They're a dark, rich blue. that feel like nighttime sky or something, which makes the orange very fiery and warm set against the night sky. And there's something really wonderful about it. I'm also not really big on gold stuff, gold foil and whatnot, sometimes, but it's really nice on this one. And you can see there's gold foiling on the box and on the cards. Now, the back, I might as well read the back to you. It says, a colorful compass for those who work to navigate the depths and unknowns within, inspired by the vast expanse of the starry sky. This deck invites you to delve into the mysteries of your own inner cosmos. Set includes 78 card deck with all major and minor arcana cards, 200-page pocket guidebook. Yeah, it's a hefty book. Manifest your intentions, tap into your intuition, build confidence in your card readings. It was published in 24, so it's not new. It's been around about a year. And one of the best things, I don't know how you feel about shopping at Amazon, but if you do shop at Amazon, it's one of the cheapest decks I've ever run across. It is currently $14.99. When did you last buy a deck for $14.99? So Jonathan says, I will never back into the Wyspell Kickstarter. I paid $65 for this deck when I could have just waited and grabbed it from Amazon for $19. Oh, you got the deck. But does that diminish your feeling about the deck, or does that have to do with the company? Let me back up. Some other people have popped in. It scrolled so fast. Nothing so strange. I say hello. Golden Saskia, Golden Crystal Rose, hello. Raven Tarot Meditation, hello. Fatima Vieira, hello. And Jonathan Daly, aloha. I just backed a Kickstarter, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's weird, though. I don't even know if I backed it properly because the price was so cheap. I think it was, what's his name? Eads? What's the guy's name? You know who I mean, Eads. Somebody pop it in the chat. Something Eads. He did the Prisma Visions. Hi, SCB. And he has one that has combined two of his decks using lenticular printing, which, if you know lenticular printing, that's like, do you remember these things called winkies that like you could angle different directions and see two different images? He did it in a deck. I don't know. Now, I had at one time a lenticular 3D deck that was very thick cardstock and not very good. This looks different. It looks like thinner cardstock, so I'm not sure. And also, I'm not sure how I feel about his imagery, but I bought it for my collection just for the novelty because I've never seen anything printed quite like this before. And he showed in the promo for it that just by switching the angle, you get two completely different images. And I like that kind of like idea or concept of having two different tarot decks in one just by how you angle the card. I don't know, practically speaking, how well that's going to work out. But I think just in terms of the printing technology, and the price was not bad to have it in my collection. Now, there did seem something fishy about the fact that it was only $29 to back. So I don't know what happened there, or even if my payment went through. But I'm kind of looking forward to that just to inspect it. All right. Anyway, enough of an aside. So this comes in a really sturdy box. I love these heavy two-part boxes. It's got a thumb index on the side, or finger index, to pull the top off because it's snug. And let's see, inside it says, discover the incredible wisdom of the tarot and bask in all its magic. Nice little graphic inside. And let's see. Oof. The cards are gilded. Now, here's something. I need to double check this again because this is a pet. Oh, James Eads. Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan. I need to Google this because this drives me crazy. This is called gilding. It's not called gold gilding. As far as I know, the definition of gilding is to make something enhanced or decorated with gold. So to gold gild, it's kind of like saying edging. You don't say gold gilding. Edge, do you say edging? It's like redundant. I don't get it. Now there are cards that are edged in different metallics, and people refer to that as gilding. As far as I know, that's not gilding because they're not gold. If it's a red metal, that's red metal edging. So I don't know. It's a pet peeve of mine. I need to do more research, but I'm pretty sure that gilding means applying gold. If it's not gold, it's not gilded. That's my pet peeve for the day. But these are gilded, and I usually don't like this. I don't mind it so much. And here we have some gold on the back and on the front of the cards. And as I said, I usually don't care for that, but it's really a nice accent in this deck. Let's see, where are we? I just backed the new deck, Oracle of Many Paths. It's a tarot deck that is a map when all laid out. You can have a silver gilt. Not sure about that. You can have a silver metallic edging, but I believe gilt means gold. I will double check that, but I think that's why it's got G in the word. Here, Marilyn. Gilding is a decorative technique that applies a thin layer of gold or other material to a surface for aesthetic or protective purposes. Okay, I will look that up. Maybe I was set off on the wrong path initially, but it just rings wrong to my ear. And if people want to continue using it, I will just sit and cringe. And I will be referring to those as metallic silver edged rather than silver gilt. Did I miss anybody else coming in? I don't believe so. Madame Maru's House of Cards, hello. I don't know if I welcomed you in before. Okay. It originally did refer to gold. Okay. So they changed the language. The card size is pretty much standard. It looks like it might be a hair shorter. I'm not even sure if it's narrower. It's pretty, if you like standard tarot size, it's perfect. Let me look at the booklet too. Apparently there's a gift you can download with a little code inside. I don't bother with that stuff. It's a nice thick book, and the book is in color, which is nice. And I did look a little bit at the book, and somebody throw a card in the chat that they want me to read, because I'll tell you about it in terms of how it's handled here. We have an introduction, divination with tarot cards, how the deck is structured, how to begin, 5 easy ways to begin your tarot reading, card layouts, then the major and minor arcana. And I think they're reversals too. Yes. Anybody? PM. What's PM? Prime Minister. PM. PM. I don't know what that means. What am I missing somehow? It's probably going right over my head. Is someone going to give me a card to look at in the deck? Anybody? Going to leave me hanging here? The star. Thank you, Saskia. All right, we're going to go to the star. The star. I won't show you the card yet, but we'll get there in a minute. Oh, by the way, there's nudity on the deck. I'm just reminded by this image in the booklet that the star is nude, provocative nudity. So, yeah. We have upright keywords, upright love meaning, upright career meaning, upright finances meaning, and then there's a little blurb. And then we have on the opposite page, reversed. Reverse keywords, reverse love meanings, reverse career meaning, reverse finances meaning, another little quote. If I can see, because my light is so awful. Upright keywords for the star actually probably is helpful if I show you the card first. Okay. Here is the star. Yeah, a little sexy, a little provocative. Not my kind of thing. I don't like sex glamour in cards, but it's clear the orange or shades of orange and blue are quite stunning in terms of deck design. Yeah. So I can't hold it up and do the book at the same time. And I just lost my page. Give me a second. There we go. Upright keywords. Maybe I can. Well, you're not going to see it. Upright keywords. No, I can't. I have to hold the book open. It's bound a little tight. Need my other glasses. Tech problems, people. Tech problems. Okay. Upright keywords for the star: hope, inspiration, positivity, faith, renewal, healing, rejuvenation. The star card brings hope, renewed power, and strength to carry on with life. It shows how abundantly blessed you are by the universe, as evidenced by the various things around you. Upright love meaning: optimistic about love life, healing from past wounds. Upright career meaning: positivity brings career rewards, high hopes about job. Upright finances meaning: reaching financial goals, remaining inspired. And the little quote: remember that you hold within you all that you need for your fulfillment. The only thing that you need is courage. For this, you have every reason to rejoice. Now, the reversed meaning on the opposite page. Reverse keywords: hopelessness, despair, negativity, lack of faith, despondent. The challenges that you would normally see as exciting may instead make you feel as though you cannot overcome them. Reversed love meaning: extreme self-criticism, loss of hope about romance, lack of confidence. Reverse career meaning: lack of motivation, lack of enthusiasm, pessimism about work. Reverse finances meaning: despair regarding financial situation. The star reverse card asks us to nurture our sense of hope and positive energy to help propel our actions with joy instead of fear. Okay, now, I generally don't use guidebooks. I think this one's pretty good. And I also never use reversals. But this might be a good guidebook to have at hand anyway, even if you don't use reversals, to take into account both sides of a card. when you're doing a reading. So I think that's good. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, there are two versions of this deck. There's a gold version and a blue edition. And where did I put the box cover? This is the blue edition. I looked at the gold edition. Actually, I think it might be Robin's Reflections. I'm not sure of her channel. Maybe 9 months ago showed a side by side of the two. So if you're considering, oh, gold sounds better, go look at that. But I found that to be a little too monochrome for me. And this one, I love the fact that I feel like even though we're only getting shades of orange and blue, I'm getting a full palette. In the gold one, it just seems sort of like black and gold, kind of. So, but you might like that. You know, who knows? I mean, maybe you don't like orange and blue, but we're going to go ahead and look through the cards. So again, we've got these beautiful backs. You've got the gold edging if you like gold edging. Reversible, yes. I love mine. I have the blue. Oh, Sandra, hello. Jonathan has the blue. I wonder if anybody in here has the gold one. I don't see anybody else. Okay. So here we have the Fool. I'm curious, Jonathan and Sandra, how long have you had? Have you had them a while, or did you just get them? I mean, I just mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but I doubt anybody's running out and buying things just because I'm recommending them. But it is, again, people looking for economical decks. And this isn't your typical Fool. He looks a little bit more modern, little carefree. Carefree is the Fool. He's got a kind of a, I'm not sure what the expression is on his face, a little sassy, it may be like, yeah, I'm going to go out and have fun today. I'm going to explore things. I like the face, happy face on the sun, or maybe it's the moon. I think it's meant to be the sun, although the skies are dark night skies. Very laid back. Sandra's had hers a few months. Okay. Next is the Magician. Magician is different. He's not at a table. He's casting magic over a book through the spells. I love how that one flyaway page is kind of like hiding or releasing a spell or releasing magic. The magic's coming out. This actually reminds me, I just started watching the new season last night of Wednesday. If anybody's into the Wednesday Addams show. And I don't know if the whole season's available. I'm into up to chapter 3, and I was surprised I could get 3. So maybe I can binge watch the whole series. But I sort of like got too tired at the start of 3 and hit pause. I like the effect of the gold here. I mean, it really does kind of jump and make things sparkle. And this color scheme, I think, would be really pretty to read by candlelight or low lighting. When you have like reflective elements on the card, they work really well in the low lighting. Wednesday is on Netflix, I believe, Sandra. So I'm finding it a little hard to follow because they do reference back to stuff from season 1, and it might be advisable for me to rewatch season 1 before going into season 2, but I'm already in. I might watch the whole season and then go back and watch them both again. I don't know. Jonathan's had his since 2024 when the Kickstarter rewards were shipped out, right? So, do you like this Magician? He's again very modern hairstyle. He's got the elements in the corners there. I also love the plants around him. This sort of like, well, RWS is he is kind of set in a garden. It's a little downplayed here with the blue. But hello, Moomin Tarot. Is Wyspell a good company? I've seen a few new sellers, publishers recently, and it's a bit hard to tell who is good. The cards look pretty. It's a judgment call, I think. Sometimes it makes me question when there's not that much information and it's like a bargain price. I get a little suspicious. But then again, I buy a lot of stuff on Amazon because it's quick and easy to receive and reasonably priced. I know it's not a great company to support, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many others, but I do because it's makes things easy for me. And I am on a limited budget, being retired on Social Security. So there you go. Next is the High Priestess. Beautiful pose there. I like, I don't know anything about astrology or astronomy, and the moon phases behind her. I don't know what to make of that, but I think it's kind of a nice thing. She is kind of associated with the moon, as we see the crescent at the bottom there. And again, I like the fact that she's referring to a book. So like Magician and the High Priestess seem to be referring to previously printed knowledge or scripted knowledge. The Empress, we've got, it's beautiful. I love it in the orange trees, and she is very pregnant. Now we have something different from the Emperor, which I like. It's kind of a nice change. The Emperor is sort of with child, you might say, with her previous child maybe, or maybe further down the line with that child, sort of like dad is taking care of the child. And this is not the kind of protection and comforting we usually see in an emperor, but I really like that. Next, we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant has a very Egyptian look to me. I think it's that headdress, kind of like King Tut or something. Doesn't have the keys, doesn't have the supplicants, but I like the candles, the flames. I like the, I guess they're incense burners overhead. I'm not sure. I like oh, there's crosses. There are crosses. Oh, there's the keys. I missed the keys. There they are. So there are keys. I like this. I like the fact that the emperor is depicted that way. Says Marilyn, keys in the hand, says Maru. Yes. Babysitting, says Maru. Her original headdress was moon phases. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. The Lovers, not keen on this Lovers card. Again, nudity, but don't see much, even though they're nude. It's all right, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Not sure. I'm not sure what is behind them. It seems almost like a vortex of some kind. Oh, also, when I first saw these cards and the way they're outlined and colored in, it made me think of stained glass. I don't know if anybody else gets that feel. On stained glass, you have a very firm, solid outline, and then the colors are filled in with colored glass. And it just kind of has that feel for me. I have to buy from Amazon sometimes as well because of budget and shipping. Like the fact the emperor's depicted that way. The Chariot. How are you guys feeling about this color palette? I mean, maybe you don't like orange and blue. And like I said, it's not my typical thing, but it's refreshing. It'll be refreshing in my collection because I don't have an enormous collection. And so when I do have decks, I like them to be very different from one another. So I've got a nice spectrum or a nice variety of things. Now we've got winged sphinxes here, which is very interesting. And we've got this sort of floating, what is that called overhead? I can't think of the name. I can't think of the word. Like the usual chariot has a structure with a kind of a, oh shoot, what do you call that? Like, yeah, they have those beds, 4-poster beds that have a thing on the top that's like a tent. I can't think of the right word. Somebody will pop it in the chat for me. I don't have a car, so I'm entirely dependent on delivery services. Canopy. Thank you, Maru. Canopy. Here we've got strength. I've never been really that big on the lion and the strength card. I love here almost how the lion, because of the contrast, his fur or mane almost dissolves into ocean waves or something, into the background, or rolling waves of grain or something. I like that she's wearing earrings, sporting earrings. Again, very modern kind of depiction here, even though the clothing's sort of a robe. There's a gentleness about this strength card, even though he outsizes her by a great deal. And the sun is either rising or setting. I'm not sure. That's an interesting symbol to think about with strength. Lately, I've been trying to order directly from the company that makes the products. I used to get on Amazon, and I've been getting them for similar prices without supporting the middleman. But something. Aslan and Susan. From Chronicles of Narnia. I like this card, and her face is beautiful. Yeah. The Hermit. The Hermit's very different. I love how the cards tend to kind of lean into orange or they lean into blue. And this one, it's not like the wand and the lantern are bright orange, but the cloak is a muted orange. It's almost like a peach or something. It's tough. I try to buy from indie sellers or Oneness Emporium when possible, but Amazon here, shipping is hard for small sellers to compete with. Yeah. For me, I have one. Archetypal, alchemical. What's my word? I'm losing my words today. I have one tarot card crystal metaphysics store in my area, and it's 14 blocks away. So it's a little bit of a walk for me at my age. I can do it, but it's kind of a walk in the sun. And they're not priced competitively. They're priced very high, like retail pricing. And on top of that, they don't always have all the decks. They don't have the indie decks. They don't have the decks when they come out. It takes them a month or a couple months before they stock stuff. So I would like to support them, but hey, could they meet me halfway a little bit? So yeah, I support Oneness Emporium when I can, but can't always, as like you say, Amazon's free shipping. Here's the Wheel of Fortune. Interesting. Eagle almost looks like it's wearing a wig. I'm never fond of this card, but it's colorful and nice. You know. Retail in New York is rough. Justice. Oh, again, I didn't mention that we've got. See, it didn't jump out at me. There's diversity and inclusion in this deck, and that's not something I look for. It's not something I don't look for. If it jumps out at me or it's in my face, it usually feels like it's tokenistic or it's like overdone, and it's usually not people of color that have prepared the deck or a board of diverse people, which I would prefer than an all-white marketing group or board. But we do have people of color in this deck, and it's nice. And I hardly think twice about it when I see the array of skin tones and hair colors and whatnot. So here we have Justice, and we do have the scales. Here we've got a hanged man, and I don't know what the birds are all about, these parrots. That's an interesting symbol to add into your readings. What are we parroting in the hanged man card? Let me turn him over for you. He's not too distressed or disturbed. He's even got a slight Mona Lisa-ish smile. Oh, it's interesting how I just noticed that some of the feathers are falling from these birds. Interesting. Tariffs will affect me buying overseas. I'll still try to support Cheryl at One Emporium when I can. Yeah, I would like to support Cheryl, but ordering from abroad seems like more work for her and for me and more expense. Anybody living over there, I will push you in her direction. Yes, buy from her, don't buy from over here. Anyone living here, it's probably easier to buy in your neighborhood or on Amazon here if you don't live near a shop in your area. Here we've got the death skeleton, very modern looking people. I don't usually like modern depictions in my tarot. Somehow this one doesn't bother me. And also there's a quality to this deck that is very pre-Raphaelite, Art Nouveau kind of, in the line work, the illustration. Beautiful temperance card. It looks like lily pads, sort of like partially balanced on a little pond. Oh, interesting. The foil on this card is not where the gold print is. You get a little bit of sparkle here in the stars and in the title and the numbers. The feathers make me think of the coins that are falling in the Marseille hangman. Interesting. The devil. I like this devil. Very different. Very almost sheep-like. Maybe Baphomet. Well, that's goat rather than sheep. This looks more sheep to me than goat, but I like this. Got two sets of horns and they're striped like tiger stripes. Again, we've got the lovers. Oh, between two palms there. Fiery love. Sexy love from the devil. The tower. This is kind of very interesting the way, and there is a tower. Okay, it's very dark. And I thought for a second those were tree branches. They are lightning strikes, and they're not in gold. We've got our stars in gold. And very interesting falling poses and flames below. That's interesting. Marilyn likes the devil. Devil's cool, says Sandra. Very different looking devil, I think. The moon. I love the moon have these wolves or wolf and dog in an almost yin and yang kind of positioning, which I like. Very interesting. And again, no foiling on the moon itself or the outlining of the wolves, but it's in the stars. It's really emphasizing the stars because this is the Starlight tarot, so that makes sense. Another thing I wonder about you guys, how do you feel about decks that take place at night? I find it kind of refreshing as opposed to the stark, bright daylight, sunlit tarot decks to occasionally see one that's in the dark. It's refreshing. It's cooling. It's great for a hot summer day to go into a dim cafe with the dark deck. Okay, here's one for you. I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this. People that don't like the creepy baby card in RWS, you tell me, is this cute or creepy? I guess it depends on your perspective. I don't know. I mean, it's almost so cute, it's creepy. It's just, I don't know how. This is probably my least favorite card in this deck. I think it's a little over the top cute with, lipstick on. And yeah, it's just, and a kind of a awe from the sun above. And these don't look so much like sunflowers to me, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Creepy? Moomin Tarot says, yeah, creepy. A fool must have a star as well, though the sun is technically a star anyway. True. I like decks that are night oriented. I like nighttime decks. Cute conceit. Judgment. I like the judgment. Oh, interesting. The judgment is playing the bugle, out of which is coming these clouds of confusion, or one might say lack of clarity in terms of judgment. It's like, does the angel actually judge you, or do they just like fog things up and you have to sort through the fog of your life to judge yourself? I don't know. We're always reaching for answers, but sometimes we have to provide our own answers. Nudity alert again. I mean, I already warned you before. The world. Again, another kind of sexually provocative nude. You just kind of have to get used to that with this deck, I like the wreath. I like the scarf or sash or whatever. Now we're into the minors, and I'm starting here with the wands. I like this wand. It's sort of like a whole branch of a tree that's very Tarot de Marseille, kind of a club that's like a branch broken off of a tree. Angels just calling us to appear before the judge. In some early Italian tarot decks, the hanged man was seen as a traitor, and the falling money could symbolize the 30 pieces of silver Judas received for betraying Jesus. I really am loving the colors, says Marilyn. I love when wands look like branches, says Sandra. Here's the Two of Wands. It's funny, too, the era of it's sort of modern, but they also kind of remind me of like, I don't know, when was Johnny Appleseed? Late 1800s, mid 1800s? Kind of reminds me of that. I'm not even sure what that era is called. I almost want to say colonial, but it's post-colonial. I think. I'm not sure. But I like the styling of it. Here again, the Three of Wands, my significator, a very, very modern looking guy. Hangman also symbolize spiritual transformation, where one detaches from material possessions and desires to gain a higher perspective. The falling coins could represent this detachment. Two of Wands. As you notice, compared to the one I did walk through last week, no confusion as far as the RWS. This strictly follows their imagery. I think last week I had two women in the Three of Wands. It was, or no, was it two women in the Four? I don't remember now, but the numbering in wands didn't really match up. They give me European vibes, Greek to to be specific. Six of Wands. Very nice movement in this. Nice being supported and backed by people around you. Just showing the wands, not even showing, well, there is an arm there. So I guess you kind of need that arm to know these are not just growing out of the ground, that they're being held up by people. Oh, there's another one over here. Handsome horse. Here we get a little masculine nudity or semi-nudity, physique. Not the way we usually see in the Seven of Wands, but hey, what the hell? Balances the female nudes out a little bit. The Eight of Wands, I like that they're sort of like coming out of these purpley blue clouds. It's almost like the Greek revival of the Renaissance era. Neo-colonial, says Moomin Tarot. Nine of Wands. We don't usually see a woman in the Nine of Wands. It's interesting. And the one wand she's clinging to is brighter or more accented than the other ones forming the wall in the background. Ten of Wands. I like this, that it's like as if nine aren't enough. She's bending over to pick up a 10th wand. It's like, how much burden can you manage? You know. Page of Wands. I love how they play with the various hues of orange and blue. I mean, some of them, like here, I don't think that's purple, but because the way it's set against the orange, it looks purple, her cloak. And the gown is almost like a periwinkle blue. And the flowers in the hair are almost red, but I think it's just more of an intensity of orange. We've got a Knight of Wands, a begloved Knight of Wands, not wearing armor, but he's wearing gloves and boots. That's interesting. And if this were truly at night, these people wouldn't be seen this brightly. But I love the way that the colors accent them and make them stand out in the dark. Here we've got the Queen of Wands, beautiful queen. And her cat. The king and his salamander. Almost like the Greek revival of the Renaissance era. Now we're into swords. These are some of these aces are like iconic cards, you know? And I love when I'm curious about this James Eads deck when I get it, because look what I'm doing just to make the stars sparkle. And that one, the whole image is going to change when I do that. Two of Swords. She looks a little showbiz to me. I mean, the low cut of this gown is not what I expect of from the Two of Swords. The Three of Swords. I don't usually like when we see, viscera, when we see like an actual heart with all the veins and things. It's not so bad here. I mean, all that stuff is there, all the detail, but it doesn't seem quite as pronounced as if they had done it, really high contrast. Interesting how the swords are surrounded by that stardust sparkle magic. Suddenly seeing this deck as a series of scenes from a Greek revival party at Renaissance Villa at night when everyone's showing off their costumes and artwork. We don't usually see our Four of Swords upright. I suppose this is meant to be an overhead view, even though it looks standing. And the way the collar, I guess it's a pillow. I thought it was a collar. I was going to say it has a kind of a Doctor Strange feel because of the collar, but I think that's a pillow, not a collar. Here, I don't know. We have a kind of an Asian samurai element brought in. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It sort of is in contrast with the modern contemporary look of the dress in the background. It's like, why is this guy dressed like a Japanese warrior? I don't know how I feel about that. Sometimes you get cultural appreciation, sometimes you get cultural appropriation, and I guess it depends on your perspective, but I don't know. I probably would have followed through with the other design directions in this deck and not gone with samurai outfits. Here we've got the Six of Swords. Interesting that the figures are facing one another, and also interesting that the clothing design is a little bit different. Seven of Swords. This guy has a kind of this similar mischievous facial expression as the Fool that we saw way back when. But we've got someone, a thief in the night, you know. Here we've got another, looks like another Asian figure. It's very, what's it called? Geisha, kind of. But the buildings look modern. They don't look Asian. It's just the gown, I guess. I don't know. I like this Nine of Swords. It's almost like heartburn. I've got heartburn. It's keeping me from sleeping. And then this is like a commercial for headache medicine. Anacin, if anybody remembers the old Anacin commercials. Ten of Swords. I like the contrast here between the red hair, the blue gown, and these thorns that seem to surround her. We don't even get blood from the piercing. We get thorns overtaking her. This kind of reminds me of, you saw the remake in the early 80s of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You get these weird kind of tendrils that are like kind of almost like spiky vines that seem to like overtake the body before it's transformed upon death into a husk of a shell. Again, another samurai with the page. I mean, I like the inclusion of Asians in the deck. I'm just not sure about the wardrobe being kind of feeling stereotypical. Knight of Swords. I like that we have a female knight in the knight. Queen of Swords. This Queen of Swords seems very deep in thought. She seems not quite ready to make her decision, but nearing that. The sword is kind of resting. It's not raised. And the expression on her face is really like, I'm thinking about it. You know, I think I know what I'm going to do, but I'm still thinking about it. King of Swords in a man spread. Try to get a seat next to him on the bus. Pardon me, but could you move your sword and close your legs? I need to sit down. I do like the colors of the cards and the diverse skin colors and the sparkly bits. I don't like the actual drawings quite so much. Not sure why exactly. People are a bit perfect or something. Yeah, I get that. It almost makes you, I mean, I'm so suspect these days of AI, and I think AI is something that we have to get used to, but sometimes it kind of pits you on opposite sides of a fence, and it's like, ooh, is this AI? I don't know. It's not spelled out. It's a cheap deck, so maybe it is. But and sometimes AI is kind of too perfect, and other times you've got flaws like this card would have 6 fingers or something instead of 5. But I think AI is improving over time in terms of its capabilities. But I don't know, that might be a reason for why people don't like. Is this considered vector art? I'm not really sure. It's got, hard edges. It's not like a watercolor or something. Well defined. 2 of Cups. Looks very hand done to me. 3 of Cups. Oh, I love, they're a very sweet 3 of Cups. I like this. I like, interesting, the hand on the hip of this one figure and then the other 2 holding out their skirts as if partially in dance and they don't wish to trip on their garments. They're singing, drinking, and dancing. And I love the tulips at the bottom. Here's a very nice, thoughtful 4 of Cups. This feels very wintry to me. There don't seem to be any leaves on the trees. So this notion of something missing, which we get in the 4 of Cups. And the something missing is being provided by this other cup, but we are not paying any attention. Also, the stars on his robe are not foiled. Seems like mostly just the foiling here is the stars on each card. But they have highlighted the inks in a way that feels almost like, the 5 of coins. We don't usually see it facing this direction. And this looks almost like a 5 of coins, or sorry, did I say coins? 5 of Cups. This looks like a 5 of Cups leading into the 8 of Cups. It's kind of like the direction we usually see somebody wandering away from the cups. Here's the 6 of Cups. Not keen on the modern nature, contemporary feel of these kids in terms of the haircuts and the faces. Again, I think it's a deck I'll get used to, but it's also, I don't even know. I want to say that, yeah, I'll draw this deck to use a lot, but it's almost like too clean, too obvious, too easy. This would be a good deck to use with somebody who wants to be able to see what you're talking about in the archetypes, because they couldn't be more surface than this. There's not really any subtlety in here, and except for maybe the application of various shades of color. The imagery is so RWS. You might almost say, well, why do we need that fat guidebook? Yeah, the Wonderland Tarot really could use a guidebook and didn't come with one, and it was a couple dollars more. And this one, we've got a lot in the guidebook. And actually, let me glance at something. I don't know if they credited writers for the guidebook. Somebody wrote it, but who? Nothing in the inside cover or introduction. In the back, there's a place for notes. No explanation. Oh, wait, there's an afterword. Copyright Futura People Incorporated. Wyspell. Who are the Futura people? Doesn't say. That's a little suspect to me. 9 of Cups. Oh, it's 2 o'clock. We're almost done here, so I gotta hurry on. Got these cups. 10 of Cups. I like the interracial marriage here. Just has a Hawaiian feel to me, this Page of Cups. I think it's the design of the clothing. Patterning. Knight of Cups. Queen of Cups. Guys, I was so long-winded today and hope to be done by 2. I'm not. And now I'm kind of racing through and won't be able to do those readings, but maybe next week I will compare readings from these 2 decks. We've got the Pentacles, iconic again. Here's a dancing gypsy type figure. Very pixie-like to me. Three of Pentacles. Planning, collaborating. 4 of Pentacles. Interesting to have a woman for a change, guarding her treasures. 5 of Pentacles. 6. 7. Nothing particularly unusual jumping out here at me in these. They are very, very much RWS. They reassign some of the gender roles, like here in the 8. We've got a kind of an almost Rosie the Riveter type, hammering out the designs on the pentacles. 9. Also, this doesn't feel to me overtly to be a female-centric deck. There is a nice representation between male, female, and different cultures. We don't see a lot in terms of different sizes, ages, weight, that kind of thing. It is a very pretty, or I should say handsome deck. The Queen. And the King. Very relaxed, mustachioed king. Yeah. I like this deck. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like it? And it is pretty easy to shuffle. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go if you haven't escaped the room already. And I'll see you next week. And if I don't have a new deck or a new topic, we may try readings with these 2 decks to compare something a little on the obvious side with something a little bit more on the obscure side. You know, like how are harder to read decks as opposed to a deck a baby could read, you know? See you. Bye. Have a great week.